Here we are starting our single-player version of Spawnimon. First thing to do is to change up the player deck just a little bit. You're going to pull out a couple of cards that don't work in this version since there aren't any personal hits. It's all just on the Spawnimon themselves. Alright, give your deck a little bit of shuffle. Make sure all the cards are clear. Next we're going to deal out the original Zodiac. So you pull 6 Spawnimon, lay them out. And now you choose 3, and these will be your starting Spawnimon, the ones you have. And one more. I'm going to go with this one. Alright, now we refill the Zodiac, as we'll do at the beginning of every turn, and we begin our attacks. Alright, first we have an attack there. So, doing a good deal, 28 points of damage. He kicks back, and so I take a few points of damage myself. This one we're going to attack here. It's a weaker creature, so only 20 points of damage. And the counter attack. And now we have our third attack. Yeah, we're just going to attack the human. Considering my cards here, so we're going to play this, and that will prevent another one from coming out later on, giving us a little bit more focus. Alright. So with that card, we refill the Zodiac. Check out what's in our spellbook, and our characters are refreshed, so it's time to do some more attacks. First we'll lay down a little bit of assault there, maximizing our points. Taking about 14 damage, so not too bad. I'm holding on to that extra bonus attack for a key point when it can do a quick eliminate. Reshuffling all of these, we played the spell to move over as much damage as I like, which some might move all of it. I'm going to hold on a little bit just to keep this guy 1 point away from death, and that'll let me maximize attacks. Now it's time to use that extra punch Or not. We'll hold on to it for a minute. Looks like he's going for it. Putting a little bit of damage on our Drowsy Stumbler. Well, he's eliminated. For our final attack this turn. Spreading that damage around so that we'll be in a key place to hit it next time. The aim of the game is always to do the most damage, so keep track of which realms are the most powerful. Some might have situations where you can't do too much damage, but you do always have your base attacks. We're going to change his speciality, so now his realm is horror. With that card, he is completely horror now, so he only has one set of bonuses, but also only has one set of weaknesses. So this is going to make him strong against the humans and the amorphous. So doubling up our attack. Go ahead and eliminate this one. And for our second attack, we're going to hit him for as much as we can and eliminate that one. So this will give us a very different Zodiac next turn. Right there you can see I noticed one of mine was eliminated, and since I don't get points for that, I'm going to keep it in a separate pile. Alright, for our other Spawnimon's attack, now we're going to damage that human. Take a little bit in return. Alright, refreshing our spellbook. And definitely going to make use of that heal card. And a pretty potent defense. So that'll be a great card for later on. Alright, now refreshing our Zodiac again. Here's where I should have instantly taken out the Beast, but I didn't realize. So it's always good to double check what you've got, especially when you have groups of things coming out like that. Alright, let's bring our attack to do a fair bit of damage. Actually, I realized I shouldn't do that. Why take damage when you can just deal out immediately? And going a little out of order, but refreshed there. Getting our spellbook ready to go. And making up for what I had done. Gotta take that damage back. Now we're back in order. So, be gentle with yourself as you're doing single player. Alright, quick attack. Here's where I finally realized I can make that instantaneous assault on a 1. I think I did my math wrong. I probably should have just eliminated him from that first attack. carefully plotting, calculating. And here comes our next attack, doing a little more additional damage. Add things up. With that horror, take him out directly. I realized another singular attack, and now we can refresh. New Awaken phase. Didn't spend any cards, but that's okay. We'll have them for later in the game. It's definitely the sign of the end once you run out of spells, so hold on to as much as you can, as long as it's not a detriment to yourself. Right. Takes care of that one. And another. Still a lot of level 2s. So another version of this, you can line up all of your level 1s and move to level 3s. So you fight through all the 1s, then all the 2s, and then the 3s. I like to keep it random, the shuffled version. Building out of a little attack, and we're only going to take 10 for this one since we decided to use that half. Alright, time to refresh our spellbook. No new Spawnimon this turn, so we'll get ready to attack again. Have that interrupt, which is an automatic cancellation of the counterattack, so those are very key, and we're going to hold on to them to maximize the potential. There's one kill, and we'll finish off him for the other. Oh, we already had one spiller, so we'll just go ahead and mark that for the refresh here in just a second, and now we're good. Taking a lot of damage. I'm looking for those heal cards, haven't come up yet, but that's okay. We can apply some extra damage up here. And thanks to our previous heal card, we don't have too much on my level 3, so we can add a little bit more damage. Certainly took a big hit early on, losing that second Spawnimon, so it's only been fighting 2 at a time. But that's how the cards go. Finally making a decision where to attack. We'll finish off this beast. And since he's dead, he won't have that counterattack, so save my level 2 character a little bit more. Alright, there's one I like. So we're going to make a minor attack. He's sent off to the Zodiac, so I don't get points for that. Return to box. But now I've got a new, fresh one to work with. So a lot of the summoning cards are, in fact, trades, so you've got to keep an eye out for losing one. where's my heavy hitter gonna hit? Just go ahead and lay down some damage. And instead of the damage coming to him, we'll take it to this guy. That ends that turn. Time to refresh again. New Awaken phase. New spell book. Second interrupt. Very, very rewarding there. Alright, we've got some weak guys coming out. So it's time to rack up some points. Fortunately, we have the right combination. Definitely didn't do it correctly here. I have my 3 who can easily take these guys out with a single hit, but I'm just thinking inappropriately. So now I've got it on my head. So always remember to double check and keep an eye on what's your most powerful. Alright, fortunately another water type with part 1, or water realm. It's called type in another game, which this is a parody of, but legally distinct from. Alright, now I've got my thinking right, and I'm going to be hitting these single ones for easy points, but I still have another Spawnimon that can do some damage. I should really hit that type 2 up in the top left. We'll hit this one and at least tire it out so it can't hit back later on. Alright, healing up. We're going to use that one immediately in our refresh. Ooh, a big type 3. So this is a lot of points sitting right there, but it's going to be a lot of damage getting to it. And I don't have the right things to attack it, so we'll just have to hit it over and over. At least he just got healed up so they can slug it out. And fortunately, with those interrupts, he's not going to have to slug it out. Alright. Time to deal a little bit more damage. Still just smashing away. Racked up a lot of points with those insta-kills, but it's still going to be a long way to victory. Looks like I should have taken more damage on that one. Except it was the second. Remember, we had the card, so nope, no damage was taken. And now he's fully back. Alright, we're in good standing with 2 interrupts. Where are we going to go from here? First attack, going to use that special bonus, since it's part of the realm's more powerful one. Add a little bit of extra damage, and there that one goes. Put our damage tokens back. And now we've got this question again. It's not quite the right suit. And if there were some 1s, he could do more damage, but try to decide who's going to be the best hit. Should probably finish off that bird, but he's doing enough damage on the return that it's not very nice. Alright, fully refreshed. Let's see what damage we can do. finally realized I could knock that one out. Unfortunately, one that I'm not so suited for is now popping. Alright, now dealing some good damage to that water type, water realm. Taking a bit in return. But actually I'll just use the card and make sure it's a kill so I don't take that damage back. Okay, let's see what I can plan to do with this guy. It's not quite enough to kill him, and I'd hate to take that extra damage, but we can at least use the interrupt and add on to it without. So he's almost dead. Next time we'll get him. No problem. Another bug type popped. Or insect realm. My apologies. It's inspired by, but it's definitely distinct. Okay, taking a look back at our spellbook, seeing what our options are. Things are getting pretty toasty in here. So now that we've got plenty of bug types out, and him being more focused on killing insectoid realms, we can refresh a little bit early, but we'll see what kind of damage we can do. Have that damage with the -5. Good to protect our big guys. Alright, piling on a little bit more damage there. Now we're going to use this bug type for sure. It's not on the most powerful one, but the insect realm will give us that #2, a much stronger punch. Unfortunately, it seems like we've run out of insect realms, and now we're getting into fire and humanoid. So, of course, we missed the horror that we had earlier. That would be useful. At the very least, we can kill him and free up a new spot. First, we need to figure out what kind of damage this fella can do. I mean, we can double it, so if there's something that we can just straight up kill, then we wouldn't be too bad. But instead, we're going to use that spell. And finally finish off this big guy. So, lots of points there. Alright, a couple more 2-level characters. Let's see what Spawnimon we can do. Easy instant kill for a point. I wish there was a water realm that we could use against all this fire, but unfortunately not. Okay, final one is the shield I've been waiting for, which I'm going to use as a heal. Just remove those 10 points since you're adding to a negative. Alright. Doing a little bit of damage to pull this one down. So fortunately he was weak, so he didn't hurt too much. Not a lot of spells left, but they're potent ones, so if I use them correctly, I can maximize my points with what's left. Alright, here comes a good attack bonus. It's enough to wipe him out, but he'll take himself out in the charge. Oh boy. There's a 3-fer that we really needed. But we can easily get some points there. Now comes the tricky part. Alright, gather up a few more points from what's left. Getting a little frazzled here, so I'm refreshing early. Those are both pretty potent, so it's hard to decide. But with the top left being weak for my number 3, that would be the clear attack. We'll see if I'm thinking of it at the moment. I realized it. Good job. And with that double, you can insta-kill him even there. Oh great, now we've got a level 3 out there. Things are getting real tough. Alright, doing a little damage. He's weak against me, so fortunately I'm not taking very much in back. And not taking a hit back, so we'll see what points we can do now that our last spell is done. Trying to go for those 5 points. Take that damage in return. It's not too bad, since it's a big guy. Reconsidering it. But we can finish him off with another attack. Ooh, things are tight. Where are you going to finish up? Alright, we're getting toward the end game, so I need to be refreshing my Zodiac. Come on, bud. Can't quite finish him off, but could have seen what options I might have had if I had remembered. And looks like it's more tough guys, lots of level 2s this round. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to get another point or 3 out of this one. So let's see what we can do to finish him off. Alright, now I add up all my points. So we've got lots of 2s, a few 3s, plenty of 1s, and adding up all together is a 63. So not a bad game.